Hello. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining me. I'm gonna wait like a moment and see who shows up. Yeah, if you want to let me know where you're coming from and do you have a service dog in training? Do you have a service dog? Do you have a pet dog? Where you at? I'm drinking some water because I'm starting to get like a weird throat thing that I am very afraid is sick, but hopefully not sick. California. Awesome. And I don't drink coffee. I just got this cup like 4 years ago, and I just love the I love the lid. I love the feel of the lid. I know that's super weird, but I drink my water out of it all the time. So if you see me with this very old cup, it is not because I drink coffee. I don't. I only drink bubble tea and water. Also, I don't think you can put hot beverages in plastic. I think that's bad for you. All right, let's see where people are at. Wasilla, Alaska. I'm probably butchering that name. Nevada, New York. Awesome. Illinois. Got a little border collie. Severville, Texas. This is just going to be me saying things poorly. New Zealand. That's pretty far. I don't think it gets farther than New Zealand from here. I live in Connecticut, in case anyone's wondering. Washington, Alabama. First SDIT. Awesome. Boise. I like Boise. Charleston. I love Charleston. The food in Charleston, that's good food. Grand Forks. Nice. North Dakota was my 49th state that I visited because I felt like I had to visit North Dakota before I visited Hawaii as my 50th state. No offense, North Dakota, but Hawaii was pretty epic. Erica's from Connecticut too. Let's see. Awesome. Sheepadoodle. Oh, yeah, if you click this link from Patreon, you actually have to go into the YouTube to be able to comment because it's really a YouTube link, not a Patreon link. I just threw it over there. Yeah, and if y'all haven't joined the free portion of Patreon, I do a lot of posts there as far as like things that are upcoming, and I occasionally have like free posts over there about dog training. So there's a portion of Patreon that you can just join totally for free, and then you kind of get alerted when I have stuff coming up like this. Castle Rock. Nice. I like Castle Rock. All right, cool. So I'll let people filter in. But I was going to talk today about, I got a question the other day and I thought it would be a good topic for a live. So that's kind of why I decided to do a live. And let me kind of just pull up my notes here. So I want to let you know that my notes are 3 sentences, but that's okay. so the question that I got was, am I going to train Denver for migraine alert? And that made me think about prioritizing task training. So that's what I wanted to talk about today. So I am a person who gets migraines, but they are, I don't want to say under control. They are much less bad than they used to be. So when this person was asking the question about migraine alerts, I was thinking about how it wouldn't be worth my time and effort to train that as a task to my dog when there's other things that would be so much more valuable for me to have in the short term as far as being able to mitigate my disability. So I want to talk a little bit today about what I think about when I'm thinking about prioritizing different tasks for task training. This is, remember, based like off of me, my disabilities, things that are good for me, but everybody is going to be different, right? So what might be a task that is not worth it, the juice isn't worth the squeeze for me, might be totally worth it for you. So, but I'm going to talk about kind of like my thought process when I'm thinking about task training and how to prioritize and when to start. Oh, and for people over on Patreon that are watching this, come over, click the little link on YouTube because I'm just getting a ton of notifications on my email. Click the link to come over to YouTube if you want to be in the live chat right now because it's on YouTube, which is on the bottom right-hand corner on Patreon. So, okay. So migraines. Migraine alert is a scent-based training. I am not a scent trainer. I know people ask me about scent training all the time. I don't like I have enough knowledge to be dangerous, right? So like there's definitely an amount of knowledge that is like I could do it with my dog probably. I'm not going to have people pay money to watch me do it kind of thing. There's experts on that kind of thing and I'm not it. Um that being said, um I could train Denver for migraine alert. It would take so much time and effort on my part that just like wouldn't be worth it for me. Now, I had a client one time that I helped with the public access portion of her service dog training. Um, and they went to a scent specific trainer for the migraines. And for her, it was 100% worth it because her migraines, she had ocular migraines, made it so that she could not drive because her migraines were sudden onset or close enough to sudden onset that it was dangerous for her to drive. She hadn't driven in 7 years before we started working with her service dog. She was able to get a half an hour alert prior to her migraines, which means she was able to drive again. That's life changing, right? That wouldn't be life changing for me because my migraines, I feel them before they're coming on. And there's nothing like that. Like I can take meds, sure. Like that it might be helpful to be able to take meds a little bit earlier. But ultimately, me be like throwing up and having to go into a dark room, it doesn't happen on the daily. It doesn't even happen weekly anymore. So it wouldn't be worth it for me. Right. So we're thinking about like how long it takes to train a task. That's one part of it and how useful it's going to be in your daily life. Now, there are things like so. At one point, I had a we called it my fugue state, but I had a migraine that hospitalized me for 3 days. I couldn't tell you who I was. I couldn't tell you my husband's name, that kind of thing. If that had become a pattern, that's going to be a totally different thing. That would definitely be something I would train for, right? Because that was a really, really dangerous situation for me. But it didn't happen again after that. So the other thing we want to think about when we're thinking about task training priority is how will we maintain it? How hard will it be to maintain it? How much upkeep is it going to need? Because anything that we train, you have to maintain for the dog to be able to continue doing this. I saw that a lot in guide dogs. So in guide dogs, we would train things like edge work. So teaching the dog not to walk you off the edge of a train platform, right? Very useful skill. However, if you live in a spot where there is no train and you never go to a train, and then 5 years later, you're asking your dog to not put you off the edge of a train, like, might they do it? Maybe. But if you haven't maintained it, it's not a reliable skill, right? So we also want to think about maintaining it. I think about that with, so I don't get this as often, but when I first started doing dogs, psych dogs, people would ask for room searches a lot. Room search being, can you go into my house and make sure there's no one there, right? And that could be incredibly comforting. However, how do you maintain a room search? How do you maintain a dog being able to alert you that there's a stranger in the house? You have to have strangers hide in your house, right? You have to have someone hide in your house for your dog to find and be able to alert you. That's not a realistic thing for most people to do and also could be panic inducing, right? So, what do we teach instead? We can teach the dog to go turn on a light across the room. You can watch your dog's body language, and then you can see if the dog is reacting differently than they typically do. I use a lot of watching the dog for certain activities. Um, I think that is a more useful use of a dog than doing a room search. You know what's even more useful than that that doesn't take any training? Getting an alarm system on your house. Like, there are some things like, dogs are wonderful for a lot of things, and there's a lot of things that you can use technology for and that you don't have to burden a dog with. Especially if your dog is doing a lot of in-depth tasks. We wanna think about, like, what can technology help us with? What can mobility aids help us with? And then what's really good for a dog to do that is not easily replaceable by equipment of some sort. For instance, like behavior interruption. That one is pretty hard for some other piece of equipment to do. So behavior interruption is absolutely something that I will train Denver to do at some point. So we're thinking about how to prioritize, how long will it take to train? How do we maintain it? And then also, is our dog ready for the thing? So we also want to think about where in the timeline are we training things? Okay. So for Denver is 1 year old now, 13 months. And he hasn't done a ton of task training. He does retrieves, and we've started position training. I don't train dogs to start alerting or doing anything that has to do with if I am in a compromised emotional state until they are at least a year old, but ideally older than that, 14, 16 months or so. That doesn't mean I don't train the foundations for it. So, example, two tasks that I use relatively frequently would be blocking and the watch position. I use a back block behind me. Stay tuned because I do have a video coming out once I edit that. And watch position, which there will be a video over on Patreon this month on that. Watch position where they're looking out the back of my legs. Those are two positions that I can train without having them connected to anything that I am feeling. And so that's something that I've started training with Denver right now because he is emotionally ready for positions, just like he's emotionally ready for a heel position or a sit or a down, right? We're just patterning positions. Great. Right. I can also, if I'm training a behavior interruption or an alert, I can teach the alert behavior right now. I won't add the dog's alert behavior. I won't add in my behavior that they're going to be responding to until they're a bit older. That's just personally how I do things. Denver is in no rush to grow up, right? So we do a lot of public access stuff. He is in no way responsible for my well-being at 13 months old. I just don't believe that for me, that's not the right thing to do to a dog. It burns dogs out fast. Sometimes I see dogs that are being sold fully trained at a year old. I don't know how. I don't think anything is fully trained at a year old. That's just me personally because their prefrontal cortex is no, I don't know on dogs. I guess maybe do they have a prefrontal cortex? I'm not a science person. A dog is not fully developed at a year old. They're not physically developed, they're not mentally developed. So, other things that I will be training him to do. Oh, what I wanted to also talk about regarding feel. So I was talking about being able to send my dog into a room. I sent my I sent Whip into every hotel room that I went into. She was not trained to do anything specific going into those hotel rooms because I trained alone. I was alone all the time in places I didn't know. Send her into a hotel room. All I'm watching is what her body does when she gets into there. Okay. And when the day came that there was a person that shouldn't have been in my hotel room that was in my hotel room, it was very abundantly clear right away that there was something wrong. I didn't have to train her to do anything. I'm watching my dog's body language. In the same way, we're also talking like watch position. Okay, here's another maintaining one. So I train watch position. The dog is looking behind me. It prevents people from coming up behind me without me knowing. Do I train the dog to alert me that someone is coming up behind me? No, I don't. You can do it, but how do you maintain it? Right? So say you're teaching your dog that if anyone comes within a 6-foot bubble of me, you're going to give me a nose boop, whatever the alert behavior one is. Well, how do you maintain that? You have to continually practice having people walk by, rewarding the dog for someone approaching. Well, what about when you're in a tight spot? Like there's just a lot that goes into that. For me, what I prefer to do is put the dog into watch position and feel the dog between my legs. So I have like physical contact with the dog and I can feel what my dog is doing. So I can feel their response when someone is approaching, looking at the person, their body shifts. Now, feel is a hard thing to teach. And I admittedly, it's hard to teach. So before I did dogs, I did horses. In horses, you are learning a lot about feel. You do everything in the lightest way possible. So you can feel the smallest amount of movement on the reins in the same way that, say, when I was working guide dogs, if the dog had a head collar on, I could feel, not with a tight leash, with a totally loose leash, I can feel where the dog's head is turning. I can feel the same thing when my dog is between my legs. That sounds really weird. You know what I mean? In position, when my dog is in watch position. So thinking about maintaining it, it's a lot easier for me to maintain dog in watch position. I also don't love the idea of teaching certain breeds of dog or certain personalities of dog to alert you when people are coming, because there's a lot of people that use dogs that have a higher propensity for potentially reactivity, protective behavior, all of that, where teaching them to notice more things is probably not the best plan. So that was another thing I was thinking about. And pushing the button. Yeah. So I actually just got sent the iPuppy. I don't know if anybody's heard of that. It's a really cool thing. I'm going to start training Denver on that. When I get out to California, I'm going to be leaving on a big trip in 2 weeks. And that is going to be an alert in the house. So something that would be more useful to me is to be able to, if I am having a crisis, whatever, to be able to press this button that is going to send text messages to whoever is on my emergency contact list, which will be my husband, um, that I need help. And then it turns on a camera. So I'll be training that. I'll have a video of that eventually. They just sent it to me because I had reached out. I thought it was a cool product for a lot of different disabilities. It could be really helpful to be able to have a way for the dog to alert your emergency contacts that something is happening, whether it's like a seizure or a medical crisis or whatever. So that's something that he will be taught eventually. So, all of that's to say is what we're thinking about when we're thinking about the tasks we're going to train is it worth the time? Is the juice worth the squeeze? Um, how will I maintain that behavior? Is that maintainable for me realistically? Um, and is there other pieces of equipment that might be more useful or do this task better and not put that responsibility on my dog for that particular thing? And then age of the dog and when I'm going to be teaching that. People have been asking a lot for forward momentum pull or other leading guiding type tasks. I do plan to do that stuff with Denver. He is looking like he's going to be suitable for that. His hips came back good. Yeah, like literally they came back good from OFA. So he is physically should be good. So that will be something that I do, but I'm not going to be doing it until I'll probably start in the spring. So he'll be between 18 and 20 months or so before I start any even foundations for that. So I'm going to go over into the chat and check it out. Can you share the product for the emergency alert? Yeah, it's called the iPuppy, and they actually did set me up with a code. So if you do want to purchase it, I want to say it's like $20 or $30 off if you use the code DoggyU. I just got it. So I haven't really gotten into that yet. And I know because this trip is coming up that I wasn't going to start the training until probably beginning of November. Yeah. Okay. Let me check. So it's like I think it's spelled like iPuppy. But yeah, it's a cool product. So check it out. The guy lives right up in Massachusetts, like near me. Okay, I'm checking the thing. So if you guys have questions about tasks, definitely throw them into the comments. I'm going to figure out how to turn my do not disturb on because Ari and Eve, some of my dog training friends, are spamming me with text right now and I can't focus. There we go. Okay, great. Okay. Okay, some people are talking about German Shepherds, I think. Watching from Tupio. Is it Tupio or Tupelo? Mississippi. Tupio. I've never heard of that. People ask me views about equipment all the time. If you don't see me using it in the videos, then I don't use it. So if you're asking me about prong collars or e-collars, I don't use them. That's just my personal thing. I don't need to, and I don't. I do use gentle leaders. I will have a video coming out on that. I don't know, in the next couple of months. I've written the notes for it, but I'll talk more about that in that video and how I use them, which is like different than how most people use them. Let's see. I have a Norwegian elk hound going through the teen phase right now. Oh, I am so on that spectrum right now too. We're going to hike off trail every other day and on a busy suburban trail the next for neutrality. Cool. Love that. Yeah. I loved your video where you helped the woman with severe migraines. It was so interesting. Yeah. If you guys want to check out that video, if you go on DoggyU and then on YouTube and then you just look up migraine, it should pop up. Really cool dog, really cool human. They did a really, really nice job. Let's see. And it's kind of a cool perspective because it's a person who is brand new to service dogs training her first service dogs. Yeah. Oh, this person has a German Shepherd they're training at home. Cool. All right. Apprentices. No, I wouldn't apprentice. Part of the reason that I do this is like I can't handle more than what I do right now. And I just don't have the facility or anything like that to be able to do apprenticeships. And honestly, being real, I think it is much more valuable to apprentice from an organization that's ADI, so Assistance Dog International. It's not certified. What's the word? endorsed. I don't know. That's part of ADI where you're going to see a lot of dogs and get your hands on a lot of dogs and apprentice under a bunch of different trainers. When I trained guide dogs, I did a 3-year apprenticeship after I finished my graduate degree. And I learned under 6 or 7 different trainers, and it was so incredibly valuable to get to watch a bunch of different people work dogs and then pull what I liked from each one of them and kind of put my own spin on it and leave the rest. Yeah, so if you are thinking about trying to accredited, that's the word. Thank you, Dragonfly Keeper. Accredited. It's hard saying words at 5. I don't usually schedule anything at 5 because my brain's been done since 3. Um, let's see. What would make someone would say seizures prioritize getting help, for example, with the button over direct response? That would be really specific to their disability and what their needs are. Yeah. How do you know when your dog is ready for a specific task? Do you mean to like function, like to do it out functionally? I want them to be able to do it in any environment under your like false circumstances before I'm thinking about that. And then just an age thing. It's hard because every dog like grows up at a different rate, but a larger dog is going to mature less quickly, whereas a smaller dog generally is going to mature faster. And males generally also mature slower. Yeah. Just like in real life in humans. I do love a male. People ask me all the time, like, if I like females or males better for service dogs, and I like males because they're gonna take longer to learn it, but, like, if you do it the same every single time, they'll just do it. You just have to take a little bit longer. Um, Females are too smart, right? Okay, what other tasks would you recommend not bothering with the migraine alert and response? So Erica, about the response. So there are things that my dog can do for me when I have a migraine, like bring me water, go get help from my husband. I will probably teach him to turn the lights off. But even again, right? Like if I was more tech savvy, I could get like the smart lights to be able to turn those off. Um, yeah, so there's other stuff that you could do. Um, Plan on training a scent alert for panic attacks. Here, let's see. Volunteering with a service dog org. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so my trajectory from I started volunteering at a guide dog school while I was in graduate school, and many different schools, their hiring funnel goes right from their volunteers a lot of the time because they already know that you are not driven by the mission, but compassionate to the mission. And they've gotten to see your work in a way. So yeah, I went from volunteer. I was volunteering every Saturday, 8 hours a day for 6 months before I got hired as an apprentice. Yep. Um, okay, I'm starting Callie on DPT, but I can't help but want to work on starting other tasks because ADHD boredom kind of gets me. Totally understood. Would it be detrimental to overlap task training too close? No, not at all. No, no. Like you don't have to only train one thing at a time. 100%. I would write down what you're training. Like I'm always thinking about 3 to 5 things that I'm working on. And I have my little whiteboard that you sometimes see in videos where I write the things that I'm working on down so that I can make progress on them. But I definitely train things concurrently. I don't train similar things concurrently. So I'm not going to train, like, I'm going to use tricks, for example. I'm not going to train rollover and the play dead trick at the same time because the mechanics are similar and that's too hard for the dog. I'd rather do one than the other. But if you're training DPT and then alerts, train them at the same time. It's totally fine. Um, uh-uh. I've been looking for ways to get an apprenticeship. Yeah, and it doesn't even have to be with service dogs to start with. Like I have a local training facility that is always looking for assistant instructors. It's not a paying gig. You know, a lot of times what's great about apprenticeship typically in a lot of service dog organizations is it's paying. It's low pay. Don't like get excited about that. You're going to have another job. But it at least pays something. And I would also look at basics. Like you have to know the basics. You want to get your hands on all the dogs, even pet dogs. Don't think that just service dogs is enough. Like it is good to start. The first thing I ever did was volunteer at a shelter. And then I started working or volunteering at a cattle dog rescue, doing fostering and transportation. Like all of those experiences are incredibly valuable. Basically, is it recommended to train 2 different tasks at the same time? Or yes. you can train them at the same time. If you have the capacity to do that, but it's not gonna mess up your dog. Um, doo-doo-doo. If you went to another trainer for help teaching forward momentum pull or leading tasks, what would you look for in a trainer to ensure they have the best experience knowledge and your dog will be safe? Oh, this is so hard because like what I want to tell you is to go to a guide dog instructor. So one of the reasons that I'm going to be training guide dog foundations with Denver is because I do feel like there is a lack of knowledge in the industry about training foundations for leading tasks. And I have this particular skill set that is admittedly very difficult to get because there's only 200 or so GDMI guide dog mobility instructors certified in the US, maybe less than that. Um, and so if you can find a guide dog trainer that can help you, your dog will be so much less confused and have such better foundations. That's not to say other people can't train it. I'm not saying that, but I do see a lot of gaps in knowledge that makes it look like the dog like what people would say, the dog is stubborn or whatever. And in reality, the dog does not have the foundations that they need to be able to be successful because it's not just can I find an exit? It's can I walk in a straight line? Can I go around obstacles? Can I go around people to be able to get to that door that I need to get to or whatever it is? So, look for GMI or people who have experience and watch them work the dogs. Like at this day and age, every trainer should have uncut video of them working dogs and look at the body language of the dog. And if you don't understand body language well, take courses on body language. It's really invaluable. Follow 5x5 Canine, Brona, friend of mine. She does a lot of body language videos that are really helpful. It's spelled out FIVE by FIVE. But body language is so critically important when you're training your own service dog because you need to know when your dog is struggling. Yeah. Is there such a thing as falling behind in training? Not for owner training. There's no timelines. Yeah, there is when you work in a program. Like in a program, there is timelines for stuff for sure. Let's see. Oh, I don't know where everything just went. Great. Can't do technology. Uh, Worried about overwhelming and burning out your dog. Yeah, definitely so here's the thing. Dogs that have the appropriate temperament for service dog work, I don't wanna say it's pretty hard to burn them out. You absolutely can't do too much with a dog, but it is harder to burn out a dog that has the appropriate temperament, and this is where I don't talk about training method very often because it's polarizing and I don't think it's necessary. Everyone can see how I train from how I train. Um, but I do think the more pressure you put on the dog, the more likely that is to happen. Um, let's see. But there's no reason not to take it slow. I'm hoping that people are seeing how much Denver is just doing puppy dog stuff and not like being asked for more than he can give me because he's too young to do anything more than what he is doing right now. Even though I have a very talented, very smart, very driven, very into training dog, I that dog spends more time being a dog and sniffing poop and running through the grass than he ever does doing any training stuff. Yeah. Because that's what I like doing too. I have like 10 papers up with the training schedule. This is also why people are like, I want a training schedule. I want you to know exactly when I should do with this and this. And that's why I won't put one out because every dog is different. Every person is different. How your disability affects you is different. But I do have that guide. Sorry, there's like fuzz on my shirt and now I'm distracted by it. I do have that guide. If you go on doggyu.com to my blog, there is oh my God, brain. There's a service dog guide that has all the behaviors that I teach, which can be helpful and it has links to all the videos that go with those behaviors in planning on what you're gonna do. Yeah. Um ah, do. What trick dog titles or other training would you recommend for migraine alert response? Um I would work through all the trick dog titles, but that's just because I like tricks. But as far as with migraine alert, because you're going to be working scent training, I would get into scent training classes, basic, normal, like if you were going to go into a scent training competition class. Yeah, that's a good place to start. There's also specific classes for it, like Delta Tails does one. Super Sniffers, I think, isn't, they might only do diabetic alert. I'm not super up on scent training. Sorry, it's not my jam. I can't see it. I can't conceptualize it. My brain's, that's how my brain works. Let's see. Oh, so someone's having their dog that's alerting but won't stop alerting. So you need to have a behavior that is the terminus to their alert and then reinforce that, the end of the behavior. Looking forward to the guide dog training videos. I think they're going to be wildly unpopular and they're probably going to tank my channel, but I appreciate that you're looking forward to that. Anytime I do a video that I'm really proud of as far as training goes, they do terribly. When I talk about like things that are controversial and people like them, and I'm not a confrontational or controversial person. I don't like it. I don't even really like, to be real, I don't like social media. It's not for me. I don't like when people fight. Let's see. Okay, so I don't need full guide dog tasks, so I'm not sure if looking for something different in a trainer for leading rather than guide. I know no one thinks they need full guide dog tasks, but the foundations are the same. So that is why I'm going to be doing the videos on the foundations for guide dog stuff, because you can't just skip foundations and expect the dog to do well at the thing. Like you can't skip foundations on anything and expect the dog, expect there not to be holes in your training. So the concepts that are used for guide dogs, like straight lines, going around things, those are important whether or not you need to use the task for guiding or for leading. You won't have to train them to the level of a guide dog, but it's going to help your dog a whole heck of a lot to understand how they're doing things, because people don't understand how much pressure, like their body is actually leading the dog. And my worry is always, depending on what the disability is, but my worry, I mean, it doesn't matter because mobility disability, right? Your dog needs to know how to hold a straight line against your potential east-west gait, unsteadiness, whatever. They need to know how to hold a straight line. You're having a psychiatric disability. You need the dog to be able to find a door for you because you're not fully in your body. The dog needs to be able to do that without your help. People help the dog a lot and they don't realize it with their body. It's something that we as guide dog trainers fought all the time, is trying to ensure that the dog was doing the work and we weren't taking the work away from the dog. It's nuanced, but it's real. Once you put a blindfold on, you realize how much you were helping the dog. Yeah. Deep dive idea, the potty protocol for humans, best practices for taking, dude, Eric, that is on the public restroom. How to take the dog to the public restroom is on my public video list, actually. But it might be better as a Patreon deep dive but one of the problems is filming it, right? Is like, I need to find a place where I'm not going to be intruding on anyone in a bathroom. But yes, that is totally on my list. It's been on my list for a long time. I don't have, so as far as non-weight bearing mobility tasks, counterbalance tasks, I don't consider counterbalance non-weight bearing, honestly, because you are putting pressure, physical pressure on the dog. It's upward pressure, but it's still pressure. Height and weight requirements, it varies. I would go to the mobility resource group. They have some good resources regarding that. If you think you're trying to get away with a dog that is too small, if you are like, ooh, is this dog too small? They're probably too small. Yeah. I love that you let him be a puppy. I love when he's a puppy. He's only going to be a puppy. I mean, he doesn't look like a puppy anymore, but he's only going to be a puppy for so long. When my pup is not working, should I let her pull on a harness or should I keep my GSD puppy online? I don't mind tension on a harness. Like Whip, when she's on a harness, walks with tension on a harness, but she's not dragging me. I don't ever want to be dragged by a dog. So that's your own tolerance, though. Do I take clients right now? I do not. It takes me so long to edit videos and to produce video. I do everything myself except for the shorts on Wednesday. I have a a Gen Xer who does my shorts on Wednesday, who keeps up with trends because I can't do it. So yeah, no, I can't physically do it anymore, unfortunately. My Elkie is in the phase of knowing how to walk in a lead well with me, but doesn't really feel like it because he'd rather be off lead. Earlier today, I let him off lead to decompress. So I every day pretty much with Denver starts with an off leash activity of some sort. I know that I am privileged to live in an area. I moved to this area because of all of the off leash opportunities here or long lined, whatever. But when I say like my dog is doing more off leash hiking and dog stuff, what I am saying is like, for instance, today we did 45 minutes off leash, playing fetch, swimming, hiking at the beginning of the day. He spent 5 minutes in Ulta with me, and that was all of the work, the public access work that he did. So I'm really, I know it looks like I do a lot because I have to make content for people to see, but we're talking about very short bits of time at a time. Maru finally caught you live. Yay. Probably butchered your name. I'm sorry. Oh my god, there's so many. uh mm, oops. Yikes. It's like sorry, it's like glitching on me. Oh, I'm a Patreon member. How can I submit videos to earn trick titles? So Patreon members that are inner circle level can submit one trick video per month, and you just message me in the app and I will send you the instructions for that because I have specific instructions that make it so that I'm able to do that. You're my favorite. You've helped me so much with my first CD service dog and my current one. Thank you, Becca. I'm looking into getting a puppy to train to be a psychiatric service dog, and I was wondering what questions I should ask to be looking for a puppy. That would be really, if you haven't taken my Service Dog 101 course, I highly recommend that course. If you haven't started your service dog journey yet, the biggest predictor of how well your dog is going to do with service dog work is picking the right candidate. And that Service Dog 101 course is going to help you find a breeder along with questions. And it'll also give you some examples of puppy testing. Or alternatively, if you're planning on using a trainer, every trainer that you're going to use for service dog work, they want you to come to them before you've gotten the dog. Success rate wise, my success rate for dogs that I picked out is, I think it's 100%. It's very, very, very high. I can't think of a dog that I picked out that didn't make it. When people brought me dogs, the chances are just slimmer. For a variety of reasons. But if you're thinking of hiring a trainer, the money up front, like on the front end, is incredibly valuable. If you need to, everyone has a budget. I would spend the money to get a trainer to help you pick a prospect, then go to group classes if you can't afford a private trainer for the beginning parts and just do group classes to start. Good, I have to caveat that with well-run group classes where your dog's not gonna get scared and stuff. But yeah. Do, 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 do. Mhm. Been trained for cardiac, but I went to the doctor for let's see. I got your name right. Great. That's probably luck, not because I'm good at it. Oh, yeah. Okay. So Becca's asking, I'm dealing with back injury and I will have to be in physical therapy. How do I prepare my dog for that environment, or will there be enough room for Great Dane, Shepherd, mobility, and medical alert? Have you watched my gym video? Because so I'm in physical therapy right now, and for my dumb joints. And that video will probably be very helpful because the stuff is pretty similar. It's just it's really like, I don't know what your physical therapy will be like, but your good dog's going to need to be able, if they're good in a doctor's office and good at a gym, they should be fine. Usually, depending on the thing you're working on, they're going to have to lie at a table. You're going to do exercises at stations throughout. You shouldn't have any issue. Most places are big enough that you won't have any issue with where to put your dog. I would bring them, like, especially if it's a young dog, I'd be bringing them to each station of the thing that I'm going to be doing. Older dog that's more experienced, I might leave them by the table if I'm going to be a short distance away, or tie them to the table. Usually you get like a table that's yours. Do-do-do. Jessica's talking about transitions, about how her dog, she loves her dog so much. I know. Yeah, one of the I think I will do a video eventually on transitioning between service dogs because that is really hard. Yeah. Tammy, I don't know where to even find a trainer. If you're looking for service dog trainers specifically, check out Atlas Assistance Dogs. They have trainers all over the country. Look for ADI. ADI has programs. You know, if you can get into a program, like a program is a now I look like a shark. A program is a better, not better. A program generally has is going to have more resources for you. And it's likely cheaper, but that isn't always the case. But look, like if I was starting off today, I'd look at Atlas. I'd look at um, ADI programs if they have any available to me. Do-do-do. Crammy likes my hat. They sent this to me today. That's why I'm wearing it because I have not showered and my hair is gross. So they sent me this hat because I had ordered another balance harness for Denver, but it's got the little climb on it. So now I'm wearing it. I used to work for this company. It's Blue Nine. I used to for a brief time I worked for them. The joint issues. Yeah, it's just like constant, right? Yeah, my shoulder's pretty screwed. Now that my knee is better from my physical therapy with that, we have to tackle other issues. Let's see. How much training does my dog need a day? Depends on the dog, but yes, you asked if you should do 2-minute sessions. Yeah, I do for a young dog, 2 to 5-minute sessions multiple times a day. But if I can only get him so ideally with meals. So I'll do breakfast, lunch, dinner training, and then I know I've trained my dog for at least 6 minutes that day. Build from there, but don't make it too long. Oh yeah, 12 weeks, like 2 minutes, 2 to 5 minutes. Yeah. You don't puppies. You want to keep them wanting more. And before, let's see. Oh, what should I look for in a guide dog trainer to make sure they're qualified and not just claiming to be one? Certification. There is only like you're going in guide dogs. There is only one they should have been certified by a school. Guide dog mobility instructor, GDMI. They're calling them something else now, but you can ask what school they went to get their certification. Denver is doing so good. Love how he's progressing. He's solid. Yeah, he's a good boy. Yeah. Yeah, can I request a possible training tutorial, one where he teaches the dog to find a family member, car, or cars if possible sometime in the future? Yeah, that's definitely on the list. But so this goes back to what I was saying about like leading tasks, right? Okay, my dog needs to be able to find a family member or the car. Well, to do that, they need to be able to walk in a straight line, go around obstacles, go around people, and target an item. And depending on what your disability is, stop at curbs, stop at stairs, all of those things. So you can't do this like that's not true that you can't. People do do these things without foundations. I just won't. Like I want my dog to be really successful and have a full grasp on what they're doing. And this is not me hating on other trainers. This is me saying I have this skill set and my dog is going to be trained with solid foundations so that those things are easy for him when we get to them. But I have to do all the other things first. And he's not old enough. And I also have to find a guide dog harness too that I like. Yeah, rough players. Yeah, so labs can be really rough players. You have to find appropriate playmates, other labs that are the same, and then making sure you're lowering arousal by calling them out frequently, calling them out of play, calling them out of play, decreasing arousal. Play sessions don't just look like a free for all for me from the beginning. You're calling them over, sit, come to heel, whatever, release them back to play. Calling them over, lay down, wait, talk to your friend for 2 minutes, release them back to play. Yeah. My thing is so glitchy. Are there introducing escalators to service dogs and training video on Patreon? I'm so glad you asked because I'm working so hard on getting y'all a public escalator training video right now. and I spent the last week filming and doing that. There's going to be a public video. There is some intro to escalator stuff on Patreon, but it's the foundations. The foundations are the most important part. I do have a video coming out in the next month, let's say, about how to train escalators or how I train escalators coming from a guide dog perspective. Um, mm, mm, mm. Doo, doo, doo. What are the main tasks for teaching scent detection? I'm not a scent trainer. You're saying the closest person that does it is 23 hours away. Do it online. So many good migraine programs. So many good scent detection programs online. There's like you can train task related stuff. A lot of the time, you can train with an online trainer pretty effectively. Mimi says, "Glad your knee is doing better. Thank you." Yeah, I was getting hospitalized a lot for that for a while, so it's been really nice. I mean, I'm working my butt off to make it happen, but just tighten it all up, hold them all together. Um, uh, so this person is asking how to get their dog to not chew on things that I get him to retrieve. So I teach there's different methods for teaching the retrieve, but I teach a hold first, and I either do that with a chin rest or a um, reverse lure. Both of those are on my deep dives for retrieve, where I show those. That's what's going to get that calm mouth. Denver had the same problem and I fixed it, which I'm pumped about. He still chews on his toys and stuff, but that's fine with me. He's not chewing on retrieval items and he has a really solid hold. So I would say work backwards, stop training the retrieve, work on holding things with a calm, soft mouth first. Okay. All right. I am my throat is starting to hurt, so I think we're good. And by that I mean I need to go get a cough drop. So thank you all for coming today. Oh, there was one more thing. So Patreon members that are here, I just want to be really, really clear. The price for your Patreon is not changing. If you are not a member and you are thinking of joining, November 1st, I am going to be raising the price from $4 to $5. So I'm raising it $1. I haven't raised that price in years. If you are already a member, there is no change. It's still going to be $4. And if you get the 10%, if you buy for the year an annual membership, it's 10% off. So if you have been thinking of joining Patreon and you want to lock in that $4 price, it's actually, if you buy annually, I think it's $43.20 for the whole year. Do it now. The price is going to go up to $5 whole on November 1st. So if you want to do that, but again, current Patreon members, nothing's changing about the inner circle and the crew member level. It will not change as long as you're continually a member of Patreon. Thank you all for being members. A ton of members on here right now. I appreciate you all so, so, so much. I can't even tell you. All right. I'm just leaving the chat. Awesome. All right. Happy training, y'all. Let me go get a cough drop. Bye.